Hi, everyone. Welcome to eLearnChat, where talk is knowledge. Here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Rick Zanotti, and welcome to eLearnChat. Today, we've got with us, you know her well. This is Trisha Ransom, also known as our e-learning goddess. How you doing today, Trish?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well, and thanks for coming in last moment and helping us, and with our old friend. Well, he's not that old, but he's our friend. There he is. There is Brent Schlenker. Hey, Brent, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good. I'm a little fuzzy. My Logitech camera takes some time to adjust to my new digs, I guess, but it'll refocus in a moment. I'm fairly certain.
Oh, you must have done something because it was clear before.
I know. I stepped out of the shot. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
I forgot to shut my door, and I'm absolutely certain that the dogs will commence barking any moment now. It's just whenever I'm on a phone call, whenever I'm on video or anything, that's when they decide, hey, now we should bark.
That's what they're trained for.
That's right. That's what
That's
they
they're
do.
trained for. Any kind of internet intruders, they're there. They're your firewall.
Yes, they are. Without question, they do a fine job.
So, Brent, lots of new things happening in your life again. You've gone full circle back to vendor role.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know if I've ever been in vendor role. I don't know if you
okay.
could call working for the guild vendor role, but maybe. Yeah, so working for Litmos now, which is a part of Calidus Cloud, and very, very excited about that new role. And it's still very fresh, so I'm still learning the ropes and figuring out the product more than I already know it, and looking to do some great things for them. So it's going to be fun.
Now, for those in the chat room as well as the recording later on, tell us a little bit about what Litmos is. I know we've had Nicole Fugier from Litmos on. You said she's no longer with the company, busy being a mom, and
Yep.
and now you've joined them, and I know they got acquired, what is it, about a year or two ago?
Yeah, I guess it's been a few years, couple of years, I guess. Yeah, maybe three. Maybe those are some of the
Has it been
details I
that
need
long?
to get better acquainted with. Right? There's a lot of learning going on right now. On my end, I was a user of the Litmos LMS. It's a learning management system. It was the original product. It now also has an authoring component,
Okay.
which was they acquired Rapid Intake, which is now Litmos Author. So those two products work very, very well together, and it creates a nice complete training, authoring, and delivery package. So lots of great ideas and strategies in the works there. I think that's one of the key reasons why I wanted to go and be a part of it is that it's not just kind of what the tool is great now. Like I said, I've been using it before, but the thing that really got me excited was all of the ideas and the direction that they're planning to go, and all of what they're doing. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time, and you'll be hearing a lot more from me and the Litmos team and seeing us around, just like
No, that's
you
good.
saw Nicole in the past. I guess I'm kind of filling heavy shoes from Nicole and Rich,
Now who's
as the founders.
Now, who's on the old Rapid Intake side? Still some of the old people, or?
Yeah, some of the same folks are still there. Yeah, I'm actually flying out next week to go spend some time with them and learn a little bit more about that tool.
Still in Salt Lake?
So,
They're still in Salt Lake?
yep, still in Utah. Yep.
Yeah. They had a good product. They were clever and innovative in what they came out with, and I
Yeah.
think they got acquired about a couple of 2-3 years ago as well. So it's interesting how the whole industry is consolidating right now. With I guess Calidus Cloud, are they a talent management company too, or I don't know that much about.
Yeah, hiring, sales, lead to money
Okay.
is the phrase. So everything you need to do to get from finding customers, managing those customers, and or potential customers and leads, and turning those leads into customers is the base around the Calidus software
Okay.
group. But but growing very, very, very fast, and making very, very smart moves. Like I said, I've been a fan of Litmos since Rich and Nicole first started coming to Guild events and showing the tool. I was very, very impressed, even with with what it could do in its early days. And now it's just grown so much, and it's an extremely easy to use tool. And it was when I left the Guild to go start a training organization. That was the first thing I did, was fire up Litmos. I did a little bit of due diligence, but kind of knew in the back of my mind that's where I was going to go. So
That's great. Well, it's interesting. A lot of people don't realize this, but we test with two platforms. We test with SCORM Cloud, which everybody tests with, and we test with Litmos. We've been doing that
awesome.
for years now. And if it works on Litmos and it works on SCORM Cloud, good chance it's going to work everywhere.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. See, I'm learning stuff, and I've got nothing to write this down with.
You can
I'll
watch
take
the
the notes
recording.
for you and I'll
Watch the
send it to you
recording
about that.
later.
So, Brent, I have to say, I've never used Litmos. What makes it so wonderful? What are some of the attributes that makes it such a easy to use product? Because I've had painful experiences with LMSs.
Yeah, I think you and everybody else right in the industry,
Yeah.
they just seem to have gotten so clunky over the years, and it's so heavily burdened with a lot of enterprise stuff. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the thing that got me interested was, and I'll try not to make this story too long, but as the internet started growing from back in the day, and it's the whole Web 2.0, we don't really reference that anymore. But when we were going through that period of when the whole 2.0 phase was becoming really cool, about that, before that, a few years and up until that point, there hadn't been really any innovation in the learning management system space, or in the e-learning space for that matter. And the field was getting pretty dry, and just the same old. And it was then, and Litmos was one of the first tools I saw that had that real sort of ease of use, that Web 2.0 feel that I was really looking forward to seeing in the e-learning space. And their user interface was really easy. They just kept it very simple, the basics of what you would need to deliver course content. And it's still that way, even though they've added a lot of functionality since the early days. But I'll tell you, the thing that really got me excited about it was its ability, like every other Web 2.0 tool, was to be able to just go to the site, put in my name, put in the name of my site, put in a credit card, boom, learning management system.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have any functionality or integration with the Jive platform?
I know we have an API that's very strong, and that you can access and connect, into just about anything. I think it takes a little bit of connectivity on the API side. But I remember asking the same thing where I was at previously. We were a Jive house as well, and I remember thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could embed this there? And
Exactly.
From what I remember, it depends on how your administrators are running Jive. If you're using a third party and it's going to cost a lot of money to get them to do the integration, I think that was our case, and so we decided not to worry about it so much. But really, I think it's just a matter of embedding the whole interface using the API into a page of some sort, and then it just connects that way. So, yeah,
That might be helpful.
there's ways around it. I like to tell people, you get the tool, and then a lot of whatever tool you end up with, you do end up needing to start to define your solutions based on the tools you have. I know it goes against everything. It's very counterintuitive to what we want to, the way we want to do things, right? We want to design all of our learning based on, just on instructional needs and on, classic instructional design and the needs of the user and the content, and then talk about the technology.
But reality.
Right? And then talk about the
There's
technology.
constraints in all areas of life, and we are constrained by the tools and technology that we have. And you're very true. I know I conceive of what I want to do, but then I have to get reined back into what I need to do. My mom taught me very young about the difference between wants and needs.
Yeah, moms are good that way.
Oh, they really are.
Yeah. I wish everybody could learn that lesson early in life, right? But yeah, I mean, and so you just, you do what you can with the tools that you have, and trying to force the square peg in the round hole is just it's a waste of your time, and you don't ever really get anything done. So.
But may I say, just like in improv, I took an improv course one summer, and they always give a constraint. That's why every improv skit starts with, just the bare basics, because you have to have parameters. But it's amazing how creative you're forced to be when you have those parameters and those technology limitations and whatnot. You do things you never thought you could.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Creative constraints. I'm a big fan.
Yes.
It's easy to get overwhelmed when you have a wide open field of choices and things you can do. But as soon as you start to, put up some constraints, some borders around where you can go and what you can do, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to put a stake in the ground and say, this is what we're doing, and move forward. Absolutely.
So,
E-learning development's no different. But it applies to everything.
It's like, I can do this, or I can do that, or I can do this, and you never get anywhere because you're so busy just playing.
Yeah, and it's funner to do that, right? Funner.
It is fun. Funner?
Yeah,
Funner is not a word.
No, well, it's
No, it's more funner.
I make them up as I go. It's funner.
Funner.
It's much more fun to to be able to think of all the positive things you can do, as opposed to harping on what I wish we could do, or I wish we had this tool, or I wish we could do that, or I wish the tool could do this, or I wish, I wish, and it gets old really fast.
But in a lot of cases, it's not the LMS's fault that problems happen. For years we keep telling people, your LMS is your main menu. And they go, what's that? So they develop 2-hour courses with a menu inside the course, and then they go, why don't people like this course? It's really well written. Yeah, but it's 2 hours.
It's 2 hours.
And the bookmarking doesn't work for whatever reason. And it's like, that's painful. Break it into smaller pieces and make your LMS your main menu that launches all the SCOs, and that's a tough one.
You would think, right? It seems so simple, but yet that's so revolutionary.
Yeah. And it's not a hard thing, but boy, it's a hard thing.
Well,
It's a hard sell.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another reason why I liked Litmos, and I apologize to the viewers if this is because I work for them now, if this comes off as a pitch. It's really not intended to be. It's just like I said, I'm a practitioner, and used the tool and had very specific reasons why I really liked it. And so, one of the other reasons from a development standpoint is I have become very much aware and actually excited about the ability to just follow sort of the lean startup. I don't know. I think it's kind of maybe it's trending out now. I don't know. But, if you think about just that minimum viable product, right? If we think of our training as the same thing, I know it can be heresy, and this won't work in some organizations, but the sooner you can get anything out there, anything created, any course, the better off everybody's going to be. As long as everybody understands that the strategy is, we're just going to put this out there, but then we're going to iterate, right? As we get feedback from the first people that take the course, we go in and we change it, and we're just going to keep updating it and keep fixing it as we go. So one of the things I learned early on in my career was that you follow the whole instructional design process, and it can get pretty laborious and take a lot of time. And then when you finally get to the first iteration of the course, even if it's just the test or the pilot or whatever, you learn so much in that one day or 1 hour or whatever it turns out to be, that you now have to go back and now do all this other work and extra work. The sooner you can get to that pilot, the better. And so the nice thing that Litmos is very, very flexible and supportive in allowing you to do that. So maybe your first iteration of this, quote unquote course, I'm one of those people that doesn't really like to use the term, but I'll tell you what, when the business uses the term, I use the term. No sense trying to fight that battle anymore, right? So if they think it's a course, I'm going to go with it, and it's a course, right? Yeah, and so we go with it. And so, maybe the first thing you do is there's maybe a tech writer or somebody wrote something, and the very first iteration of the course is just a PDF file with a quiz. Okay, fine, do it. In most cases, somebody within the organization somewhere, if not a whole lot of people, have been dying to get a hold of that information. And for whatever reason, whether the content management system or SharePoint or whatever the enterprise is using, nobody can find anything, right? And they can't get that content. So let's just take some of the really good content that people can't seem to find and put it into something that we call a course and make it easy for them to access. They access it, and now on top of that, they also get credit because now the LMS can track what they've done, and they've read it, and not only that, but that they have a basic understanding because you whipped up a little 15-question quiz at the end, and they were able to pass it. Okay, great. So is that the perfect course? Was it perfectly instructionally sound? Maybe not in the classic traditional sense, but what it did is it fit and helped to some extent somebody within the company and added value. And that's really what you're going for, right? Is you're always looking to add value to the business. And I think sometimes as e-learning, training practitioners, we sometimes get so deep into our community and the work that we do that we focus too much on the details of how to get it just right and how to make it perfectly instructionally sound, and did we follow the right model, and are we going to measure it against the right objectives and all that kind of stuff. Still think all of that stuff is important, don't get me wrong. But you can, like I said, release these things iteratively. Get started, put something out there, call it a course, figure out how people are using it and how they're applying it and what parts of it they really liked, and then expand on it.
Yeah, and well, did you guys get the memo about 5-6 years ago that basically said you must torture your learners into submission?
Yeah.
And listening to you talk, it just reminds me that of what was the story about. I just wanted a course. I just want my people to know how to tell time. They don't need to know the history of the clock, the mechanics of a clock. They don't need just what time is it. Yeah. And sometimes I think we get bogged down.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to be able to do it. It's SME syndrome, right? The subject matter experts always, we blame them for always wanting to put everything in the kitchen sink. But, we're a bit to blame too, because we start thinking a lot. I know I'll be the first to be reminded that I sometimes overthink things too much. And so, sometimes I do want to add too much into the course, but I've beaten it out of myself over the years and figured out that, going lean and doing an iterative approach to your development, it definitely adds more value to the organization and makes it better. I used to talk about it as, we're driving a Volkswagen down the freeway trying to turn it into a jet. And, and so you're still driving, right? You're still moving. The course is still out there. You're in the car, or you're on the car, or you're changing the tires, or making something different about it. But you're delivering. You're adding value to the business, and it's the content is available. People can get value from it, and you're just updating it and making it better and better and better as you go. And with the end goal, someday it will be this masterpiece. It will be this great, efficient, jet of a course that is just exactly what people want in just the form they need, going as fast as they need it to go.
But sometimes all you need to do is have them read a page, a sheet. That's all they need. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one of the other things I've learned too is that your really smart A players train themselves.
Yes.
You
They
know?
do, don't they?
And but people don't like to talk about that, right? I mean, nobody likes, because then the people who request training are all of a sudden perceived as not A players, and then it becomes kind of this, oh, I don't want to be that, and it's it can be. Attaching labels to things can be a difficult minefield to walk through, but
You
it's
sound
true.
like someone who's speaking from experience.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, just think about it. I think it's one of those realities that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody understands. I mean, I don't think I've ever sort of thrown this idea out to anybody who didn't nod their head and say, oh, yeah, you're totally right. Your high performers, your A players within your company are the ones who learn on their own, and they are not afraid to go up and ask, find the people who have the knowledge themselves that they think or know that can give them the knowledge that they need, and they're not afraid to ask, and they're not afraid to engage, and they're not afraid to seek out and mine the deep corporate shared drive or SharePoint, and spend a lot of time just digging and training themselves. For all intents and purposes, right?
That also comes down.
Who's left are, the folks who kind of want and need a little more hand-holding.
And Brent, really, that comes down also to creating a self-actualizing and learning organization where people actually want to learn, want to improve, versus just, I show up, I do my job, I leave. And nothing changes in 10, 20, 15 years. There's a lot of people like that. And they're happy that way. They don't want to learn anything new. They're happy. Don't bother me. So when they see new courses, it's like, I don't want to take this course. I don't want to do anything. I already know my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah. I've worked with some people like that. I've
Yeah.
worked with lots of people like that.
Yeah.
And this is why we've ended up with the mandates, right? I mean, this is why, compliance training and all the boring stuff that nobody likes to learn, but yet we've created laws and things that say everybody must be educated on this, that, or the other thing. So we create really bad, non-engaging courses that we force people through, and so they're like, "Ugh, really? Do I have to take
Yeah, and we
this?"
always-
Including myself. I will be the first one to say,
Me
I
too.
can't stand
I'm
taking
two.
the courses.
I'm number
like,
two. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even care if they are e-learning. I don't like them any more than anybody else does.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but we're in kind of a lawyer-run e-learning community many times. We have to take all these courses, but it has nothing to do with learning. It's with indemnification.
Yeah.
So we're indemnifying everybody. So as a result, that goes back to the memo about 6 years ago, torture them into submission.
And you know what? I think some of that plays a large part in why there are so many people who say, "Oh, training, I don't want to take it. It's just another thing I have
Right.
to do," because it's been so painful in the past.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be, right? I mean, if you're just looking for content, if you just need to solve a problem, you don't want to take a whole day class to figure it out. Maybe you just need to find that one person or that one bit of content that can give you what you need, at that moment. And of course, now we're talking, performance support and all that kind of stuff. But there's really no reason why the actual training course can't also have those little nuggets and snippets of information, in them and available, and allow your learners to go into your LMS. Again, that's another beautiful piece of Litmos. All the modules can be wide open, and you can dip into a course, depending, of course, how you set it up. You can constrain a course to force people to take a particular learning path. But once they've gone through and taken them all, they can always go back and get that content again if they want a refresher or whatnot. So, it's just that flexibility is really, really important.
It's so interesting you said that, because we've just we're in the midst of transitioning from 3-hour webinars that we offered or made our customers take to a more blended solution. And I go in and I run the reports every day, and I would say about 70% of our customers have gone back and rewatched something and retaken another course.
So
it is working.
It is. It
Nice.
really is.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you too. So the beautiful part about it is, when somebody's gone through and they've taken all of, they've gone through officially focused, taken all the content, the course all the way through. The nice thing is now, normally when you're in a sort of a performance support mode and you just want to go back in and retake a chunk of something, you're normally not at your desk anymore when you're kind of in that mode. And so the whole mobile side of learning comes into play there pretty strongly. And this was another reason why I chose Litmos, is that everything I knew right away. I didn't have to worry about having a different mobile learning strategy, because everything that we put into Litmos, all your courses, are accessible via mobile devices, via any Android, iPhone, iPads. It all works exactly the same way.
Really?
Yeah, and just it does all the conversions for you. So as soon as you upload the course and create it, boom. So there's really, obviously, when you're creating your media, if you know someone, you're not going to have 10-point font on a video and a whole bunch of words, right? And then expect people to get anything out of that when they play that video on a small screen, iPhone, or something like that. But they'll still have the audio, right? If it's a video, for example, or if it's text. If it's text, they can, a PDF file or something like that, they can absolutely read it on an iPad. They can make the text bigger and whatnot. If you're putting in maybe a storyline, SCORM, compliant element in there that's really interactive, obviously you're going to need to take that into consideration, which you're going to be having people push buttons and tap on things when they're on the small screen. But in general, if you're just keeping it as just some nice generic chunks of media that people are taking, it's all right there, ready to go. You don't even have to really take design too much into consideration early on. You can find out later, like you were saying, right? You collect all that data and you're like, wow, I didn't know so many people were going in and doing this afterwards. Maybe we should try to make that aspect of the course a little bit easier.
Exactly. And another thing, it's something that I'm very passionate about, is we don't always need a course. Sometimes you just need a commercial, because I firmly believe that I don't need to train or teach people things. All I have to do is get them excited enough and enthusiastic enough, and they'll go out and learn it on their own. And so we had some enhancements here at Guardian Analytics to our product. And instead of creating a course or doing a webinar, I whipped up a 2.5, 3-minute video with Barney, Wilma, Fred, and Betty, although nobody caught my joke, with just showing how the enhancement is used in 4 different scenarios, and that's it.
Yeah, you're speaking heresy, right? There are people who are going to come knock down your door and take away your instructional design card, right?
Oh, well, I'll survive.
I know. Yeah, it's true. It's, like I said, you get people excited and motivated enough. Naturally, your A players and your high performing employees are just naturally they're just naturally born that way. They have this innate quality in this interest to learn, right? But some folks need that little extra push. So really, if you can create something or do something that gives them that motivation to learn on their own, go for it. That's as good of a solution as, sheep dipping the whole corporation through a 2-hour boring, course on
Compliance
electrostatic
something.
discharge.
Are you saying that electrostatic discharge is not exciting?
Well, it can be, right? It depends on your learner, right? We've learned this.
And it depends on how you present the information. I will say I watched that video from 1937 on the differential gears. It's an old Ford or Chevy video from 1937, 47.
Wasn't that great?
It's amazing. I watched the whole thing. I know how differential gears work. And
I know.
it's just how you present it. And,
Yeah.
he had like those Lincoln logs. And it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of my shining idols. What is an idol if it's a thing instead of a person?
It's a good example of how that
Inspirations.
we don't need all of this fancy technology that when I blogged about it, I remember saying, that this is what we mean when we're talking about, telling the story, right? And finding a way to be better storytellers and simplifying something to the point that it's not the technology and the delivery method becomes fully transparent, and your user is now fully engrossed in just what it is that you're showing them. It was that that video took a very complex topic and whittled it down and started from the very basics and basically walked you through how they solved the problem, right? And
Exactly.
They told a great story of, this is, the cars can't turn because one wheel skids, it's got to spin faster, and we don't know how to make that do that. And so we do this, and then we do that. And then we ask ourselves this, and then we've got another problem to solve. And so we tried this, and then it worked. And, it was just, I thought it was brilliant. It was very well done.
We did.
And showing the visuals of the motorcycle, so you could, or ice skaters or the kick line, as they turn, the people on the outside have to go faster. It made it so clear. I got it. I never knew what a differential gear was or what it meant, but that's all I needed to see.
Yeah, so basically you were learning calculus without having to know calculus.
I like calculus.
Yeah, but it's the same idea. It's all about differential
equations.
Yep, differential equations. and it's interesting. We had the whole group at lunch one time go through a Disney video that was teaching math, geometry, and a little bit of algebra. This is back from probably early 60s. And it was fun. And they're all watching and learning. And it kind of lost some of what we were trying to accomplish, which is learn the technique they were getting into the video. Wow, that's fun. I want to do that too. Oh, no, wait. Let's go back and take it a step. No. But again, they were teaching a fairly complex subject and making it very real. And then as a result, by the time they were done, they knew a lot more about math. And these were college students, some of them. And they were going, hey, that's kind of cool. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah, it's all you got to do is present the information in a way that will capture people's imaginations.
I concur.
Oh, I got to concur.
And we're probably going to end the show on that note. She wins. And
No. Oh, wait.
Okay, here we go.
I just have to say this. I went to my first DevLearn conference 3-4 years ago, and I had been following Brent on Twitter, and so that's how I knew him. I had no idea who he was. And he was up on the stage, and they had his name pop up, and I said, no, that's...
It's that guy.
It's that guy. He's on the stage. He organized this whole thing. I had no idea who you were.
Well, that's who I was.
It was, and it's been wonderful. It's been you've taken me on a journey too. As you go through life and whatnot. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. It means a lot. I like to try to connect with everybody, so and help out wherever I can.
No, and we all have one common friend in common. That was Terrence. I
Terrence.
met you through Terrence. I
met
both of
you
you. I
through
actually met
Terrence.
both of you through Terrence.
Yeah.
And,
So did I, because
and-
Terrence is the one who told me about that conference.
and Terrence
yeah.
told me, well, Brent's going to be on the show, and he's one of the nicest people in e-learning. I will never forget that was his comment. One of the nicest people. And yeah, he's always made good introductions. That's
what he said about you too. He's like, "Oh, Rick Zanotti, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
You got to meet him. Yeah,
You got to meet him. You got to
he
meet
told
him.
me the
Let me
same
take
thing.
you over to him."
Brent, how much did you pay him to say that? I was paying about.
No, it was just a fluke.
Yeah.
No, but it was good. It's great fun. It's the community is. I love e-learning. I loved working for the guild. I still miss that job, and I miss the folks there quite a bit. I still stay in touch, but it is the community that makes this job so much fun. There's so many great people, and everybody's out there just trying to make. Make the world a better place, their job a better place, make somebody's life a little bit better by, creating some engaging training and learning. And it's just really fun to be a part of it.
That's great. Well, with that, we are going to end this show. Brent, you're going to come back on?
Absolutely. Anytime.
Let us know when you get more settled into the job. You've only been there, what, about 3 weeks?
Probably about that. Yeah. So I'll be much better at my pitch. So.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, you've got a potential customer right here, so we'll be in touch.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to talk you through it anytime. You let me know.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Sounds great. And for all you people in the chat room, I know everybody's been quiet today, I guess. But
Yeah.
thanks for
Yeah.
being there. And if you're watching the recordings, please subscribe and let us know what you think. Brent, thanks again for being here. Trish, as always.
My pleasure.
She's one of the few goddesses I know, so this is actually a cool thing. Trish-
Supreme ruler.
Trish,
It's world domination.
if you get a
That's-
chance to meet Trish at a show, she is a lot of fun. She's a blast to be around. And Brent, you and I have still not yet in person.
I don't
kidding
believe
me.
so.
No,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
One of these days I'm going to have to drive that extra, 30, 40 minutes up to Camarillo?
Yeah. Are you going to be at eLearn?
I will be, yeah.
I'll definitely see you over there.
Okay, good deal.
So, Trish, are you going to eLearn?
No, I'm going to my new job. There's no financial reimbursement, so I'm only going to DevLearn and ICE in
Okay.
DC.
Well,
this year,
I'll see you
'cause
at DevLearn
it's
for
out
sure.
of my pocket, and
Yep.
airfares out of San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely see you at DevLearn.
Okay, cool.
That'd be good. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot, and we will see you guys next week on eLearnChat. Take care. Bye-bye.